I was on the treadmill after doing 20 devil's presses, and I knew that I had 50 wall balls and 2.5 kilometers to go. And literally in that moment, my brain was literally screaming at me to stop. Like, my legs were so heavy, I knew it was coming. All I wanted to do was tell my coach that I was too tired, that I hadn't been able to finish the simulation. But in that moment, I use a technique that I teach my clients all the time to help them get through really tough moments. And this is what happened. To give you a bit of context, my name is Clara. I'm a chartered psychologist, a sport and exercise psychologist, and a fitness coach. And in 3 weeks' time, I'm going to be competing in Wild Hybrid. Wild Hybrid is kind of like a high rocks event where it involves running 1 kilometer and doing a fitness station 5 times before finishing with a 5-kilometer trail run. It's my first time doing this event, and so my coach and I decided that I would do a bit of a simulation at the gym just to give the movements a go and see how I could put all of the exercises together. So it's a bit like a pre-competition preparation session with around about 4 weeks to go. So it was really important to me, and I was going into the session with a little bit of pressure and apprehension because I didn't actually know how I was going to get on. But as always, being a sport and exercise psychologist comes in really handy, and so these are 3 specific techniques that came up for me that were really effective in getting me through that horrible session. The first technique that I used was acceptance and positive self-talk. This came in when I first started, literally press play on the treadmill. I started running and I noticed my stomach immediately cramp up, and I noticed myself thinking, oh, this feels horrific. This is going to be so hard. What acceptance and positive self-talk is for one, actually acknowledging what I'm thinking, noticing that thought coming up, allowing it to be there, not trying to fight it, not trying to convince myself that that is not an experience that I'm having. And with that, accommodating for that thought. And with the positive self-talk, then noticing, okay, I'm feeling like this is going to be pretty tricky for me, and I am willing to give it a go, and it doesn't have to stop me from trying my best. So rather than trying to get rid of that thought, I noticed that it was there, I accepted that it was there, and in doing that, it gave me space to allow for other more helpful thoughts to come into my mind. What that helped me do was basically not get tangled up in my head and not feel that immediate like drag feeling when you start a session and you feel like it's going to be really hard. So if you ever go into the gym or start a run or start a session and you feel that your body is tired, or maybe you don't feel 100%, where you notice your mind going, oh my God, this is going to be awful, and starts to like spiral and, you know, basically get in your head and make the session shit before you've even started, you can use that. You can accept what's happening. So you can acknowledge the thought or the sensation that you're having, allow it to be there, don't fight it, make accommodations for it. And as you do that, allow for other more helpful thoughts to come in. It's not one or the other. It's I can feel like this and I can be experiencing a more helpful thought at the same time. The second technique that I used was contact with the present moment. All it really is, I mean, it's just mindfulness basically, but it came up for me when I was doing my 3rd run and I could notice my heart rate increasing and my breathing was starting to accelerate. And before I knew it, my mind was at the event straight away thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to manage on the day? Like, that's going to be super difficult. What if I get really tired? This is just a simulation. Straight away, I was overthinking the hell out of the event. And so bringing myself back into the present moment just helped me focus on my breathing, focus on how my body felt there and then, essentially acknowledging that I'm having that experience, bringing my attention back into my body, taking a deep breath in, and just being able to ground myself and think, okay, I'm here, I'm in the gym, I'm doing a simulation. Let me just bring my attention to this. Let me just refocus on this moment right now where I am situated, the simulation that I'm doing. Anytime I notice my mind going like, but what about the event? And what if it's shit? I was like, okay, just almost like a puppy, right? Like, you know, puppies that when you're training them, they get super distracted. So I like to just gently bring the attention back and keep myself in the here and now. And again, if you ever find yourself at the gym or in a training session where your mind starts to panic about an event that's coming up or a holiday that's coming up and whether you're going to be ready or whether it's going to be really difficult, whatever that might be, you can use this to just essentially gently bring yourself back into the present moment. Not notice and acknowledge what's happening. Don't pretend that you're not having those thoughts, but you can come back into your body, bring your attention to the sensations, maybe like to where your feet are or your breathing, and just remind yourself almost like of your surroundings, like you're here, you're in the gym, you're not in the competition setting, and that can be super helpful too. It definitely helped me stop panicking, and it helped me actually focus on regulating my breathing, which because of my overthinking was becoming increasingly shallow, which was not helping me with my running. And the final technique that helped me was my values. So like I said at the beginning, when I was at that last run really suffering before going into the wall balls that would then finish with an even longer run, I was thinking every part of me wanted to quit. I was like, this is so hard, I'm so tired, I don't think I can do this, I think this is going to be super difficult, like maybe I can just stop, maybe I can just stop the treadmill, maybe I just tell my coach Tom that I was too tired, that I wasn't feeling well, that I didn't want to do the session. And that's where I reminded myself of my values. I reminded myself of the things that mattered to me. Now, values are essentially the things that matter the most to you, right? And when you think of your values, it's almost like these intangible, rather than it being a goal, it's like this intangible thing, like something that you want to live by. How do you want to show up in the world? world. And for me personally, courage, challenge, and compassion are really important values. And so when I'm setting myself these goals and when I'm having these moments, when I'm in a training session or like in this case, in that simulation where I'm really, you know, in the pits of hell, I'm in like the pain cave and I'm thinking, I'm just going to quit. I can bring my values to mind straight away and think, well, actually, it would take courage to stay in this for a little bit longer, to just push yourself a little bit harder and just see if you can do it. It takes that curiosity. It's the compassionate thing to do because challenging myself is important to me. I'm curious and I want to see myself commit to the goals and the expectations that I've set for myself for that session. It's important to me to be able to show up in line with that because it's a part of my values. And so when I was in that pain cave telling myself, oh, I really want to quit, like this is horrible, I want to press the stop button because I've got so much yet to go, and this is really painful and really hard right now, just reminding myself of my values is really important. And if you want a bit more help, like identifying your values and maybe being able to set value-based goals so that you don't press the treadmill stop button or the metaphorical fuck it button, you can head to the description where you can download my value sort activity and I'll take you through step by step exactly what I do to identify my values and how I set myself value-based goals. So that in those horrible moments where I'm literally ready to quit, I don't end up quitting and I actually end up seeing my goals through to the end. And although those are the three main techniques that stand out to me right now on reflection, there was so many other things that were happening at the same time. I do notice myself sometimes if I'm struggling in the middle of a session or something like a simulation where I am putting pressure on myself, sometimes I notice myself saying to me like, it's okay, like don't worry about it. And I find that really aggravating whenever I notice my brain producing those thoughts. I just want to whack them away because it is important to me. Like pushing myself and doing well does matter. So telling myself like, oh, it's okay in that moment doesn't feel helpful. For me, it's more about like, okay, what's important? What are your values? What are you going to do that's going to make you proud in this moment? That's what keeps coming back to me. That sometimes like the advice and the approach that I might have in other moments outside of like a simulation doesn't always work for me when I'm in that situation. And the other thing that I found really interesting was actually noticing the type of self-talk that I was using to help me get through that session. I was saying things to myself like steady breathing, just stay focused, you're here and now. Those three sentences were going through my mind on repeat. And I found that really helpful. Like it kept me totally anchored and it helped me see the session through to the end, even though I was really tired. When it got to that final 2.5 kilometer mark, I was like, ugh, oh my gosh, I am so tired. I am so done, but I'm so glad I pushed through and that I didn't press stop beforehand, that I didn't quit, that it was almost like that moment of pride of recognizing that I was grateful for the current me making that decision for my future me because I was able to really experience that pride and that joy for myself in that moment. And although I'm talking about this in like a performance or a competition context, these exact techniques are the same ones that I use with my clients when it comes to them committing to going to the gym, to sticking to a particular way of eating that's going to be helpful for them to meet their goals, to noticing themselves have the urge to press the fuck it button. All of these tools and techniques and many more are the exact things that I use in my coaching and in my work as a psychologist too. So if you do want support with your mindset, with building a bit more resilience, with actually being able to see your goals through to the end, even when it's hard, you can always apply to work with me through the link in the description, and I can help you build those exact same mindset techniques for yourself. In the same way, if you're a performer, if you're an athlete and you want more support from somebody who's been there, done that, and who can understand what you need in this moment, you can always inquire about working with me through the link in the description too. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and I very much look forward to seeing you in the next one.